Hey yo, check it. It's so many fire stories I got coming at me about North Carolina with this Surviving North Carolina series. You heard, I gotta just turn it into a whole general series that keeps going. Cause the stories ain't stopping. And that's a fact. Shout out to the bro Cell from Stuy. You heard this story right here, straight movie. And that's a fact. All my bro stories is straight movies. You heard? So y'all storytellers out there that's lighting this channel up, y'all got some new competition on the block. That's a fact. The bro sellers in the building. But yeah, man, shout out to the whole North Carolina, Raleigh, Charlotte, Durham. Drop a comment, let me know what part of NC you reppin'. But yeah, man, Z-Man, Suicide Polo with the ski man running around the hood like He-Man with 3 swams looking for a dude that ran off with 3 grams. You heard? Get at me if you got those stories. You heard? Hit my email, hit my number up. Hit me on Instagram. That's a fact. Let's get it.
He like, look, this is bad. He said, this is what I'm gonna tell you. This is how I want this handled. He said, I don't care who it is. Somebody you don't like, somebody you like, I don't care. A friend, a family, somebody you don't even know, but I need a name. I need somebody that I can feel like I took something out on before we leave here. Just give me a name, anybody. Anybody done you dirty, anybody that you don't like, let me deal with that now. That's the person I'm gonna take this out on. I don't really want to put her name out there because, like I said, she's a known person out there, but we just gonna call her Stell. And her son, we gonna call him Pep. But she was a Mexican lady, her and her son. You know, her son was one of those, like, ones you see like in a movie, the niggas from Cali. He was big as hell, tatted up, and all of that shit, right? But he was cool people. When I first met her son, I thought he was aight. But anyway, there was a friend of mine that put me on to her. She was like, yo, you be getting your shit from such and such a, but you need to holler at this lady. She good peoples. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try her out. So she plugged me in with her. And I started going over there. Like, once I met her, she was cool as hell. Like, everybody that was interacting with her loved her. She was cool. Anything you needed, like, if she got it, she gonna look out. But
and this, you said this is in NC, right?
Yeah, North Carolina.
So you went down there just to hustle?
Nah, I had actually went down there because my mom's was having surgery. So I went down there to be there with her for her surgery, and I wound up staying. This was like '94 when I went down there, and I started hustling. At first I was working and shit. I ain't really get into the hustling. I started hustling probably like 9, 8, 9, something like that. But yeah, the lady that I was telling you about, a friend hooked me up with her. There was a friend from New York, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had met them when I first came down there, and she hooked me up with her. And she was like, this lady good people. So I met her, and she was good people. Like I said, she actually came from Cali. She had a little thing in Cali. This is how she met her connect. She used to have a restaurant in Cali, and, you know, a lot of powerful people used to be in and out of there. And one of them was this Colombian dude. And the Colombian dude wound up getting cool with her. So he came to her one day and was like, I need a favor from you. And she was like, what's that? And he was like, I need you to hold something for me. So she was like, all right, no problem. So he gave her a suitcase and was like, you know, just put this up for me. I'll be back to get it in a few days. So she said, all right, I got you. So she put the suitcase up, never touched it, never looked at it or none of that. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't come back for like 2 or 3 months. He didn't come back to pick the suitcase up. But out of nowhere, he popped back up and was like, hey, you got that for me? And she was like, oh, yeah, I still got it. So she get the suitcase and give it back to him. And he started smiling, like he opened it up and looked at it. And he was like, I appreciate you. And it wound up, the suitcase was full of money. And he was like, I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? You know, you definitely held it down for me. And she was like, no problem, no problem. I never touched it. So he was like, I can see that. So he told her, he was like, anything you need from me, like, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I do and whatnot. And she was like, all right, yeah, I appreciate that. So anyway, it took her like another few years before she contacted this dude because she lost her restaurant, was going through some shit, had to dip out of Cali. That's when she came to North Carolina. So when she came down there, people was telling her, you know, the kind of money that was moving down there. So she wound up getting in touch with this dude. And long story short, he wound up like supplying her. But what happened was, like I said, when I met her, everybody out there used to be like, they called her mommy. Everybody. But I wouldn't call her that. I called her by like her I used to be like Miss Stell. But anyway, I got real cool with her. You know, she wound up liking me, liking my energy, and I used to just come back and bring her money. So she was like, I like you, you know what I'm saying? She was like, I know everybody around here call me mommy. You the only one that don't call me that. She was like, but I know if you ever call me that, it's going to be real, because a lot of them just call me because they hear other people doing it. But I got a mom, you know what I'm saying? So I never felt like, you know what I'm saying, that was respectful or proper to do that. But, you know, it ain't like I knocked it, but I just always called her by that. But like I said, I wound up getting cool with her, and it was a few times that shit happened. Like, I remember one time some people ran in her house, and when I was down there, I had a squad. I had a nice little squad of young niggas that was trained to go. So, and a lot of people out there knew about us. And when she found out, like, you know what I'm saying, the people that I moved around and how my niggas was, you know what I'm saying, whenever something happened, she would holler at me. And I arm up and go over there and be like, what's going on? What's up? So, you know what I'm saying, we handled a whole lot of situations for her. So I wound up like being real cool with her. But anyway, we made money together. And what happened was, this was before I told you about what happened with the attack with the Columbians. Her son wound up getting some people to run into her house and took some money from her. I wanted to do something to her son because I'm feeling like he hurting her more than helping her. But that was like the last thing she wanted. I'm like, yo, he got people running in your house. At the end of the day, one of these people gonna wind up hurting you.
Why? He was on drugs or something, or they was beefing, or what?
Yeah, that was the problem. The nigga, he was getting high. If you see the nigga, you wouldn't notice it. Like I said, he was like one of them big Mexican dudes, tatted up and all that shit. But you couldn't really look at the nigga and tell. But yeah, he was getting high. And he just couldn't get his mind right. So I used to, like, one day, this was the day, I sat down after she told me, no, Selby, I know, but, you know, I fuck with him, so don't do it. So I said, all right. So I sat down and I spoke with this dude. I caught him outside and I sat down. I spoke with this nigga from my heart because I had got to the point like I really fucked with his mother. So I spoke with this nigga from my heart. And that shit was like so deep and so heartfelt. I ain't even gonna sit here and lie to you or hold you. I cried talking to this nigga like, yo, please stop doing this shit to your moms. Like, you know, if you imagine if you got your shit together, if I had a mother like her that had to connect like that, like, you know, the shit you could be doing. I was like, imagine if you got yourself together and got behind her. You know what I'm saying? It's like the only people that she really got behind her is the people that she dealing with. She don't really have family. You her family, nigga. You the only one down here that's her family. Like, stop the bullshit. And he was like, I know, I'm gonna get my shit together. And I told that nigga, I said, yo, you at the point now where I felt like you hurting your moms more than helping her. But it's only because of her why ain't nothing happening to you. And this is like I said, a lot of people mess with her, so a lot of people felt the same way about her. But anyway, that passed. The next thing I know, I'm in the crib one day and she called me crying. She upset. And I'm like, what's up? She's like, please come over here to where I'm at. Come to where I'm at. So she tell me where she at. So I round up my niggas. We dip over there. We meet her in the shopping center out there. So we dip over there and I'm like, what's going on? So she was like, yo, somebody robbed my Connect. You know what I'm saying? The way they had it set up was they had a person that stayed in North Carolina. And that person got the pack. And she would only deal with that person. That person didn't mess with nobody else in that area in North Carolina. That was her person to connect through these people. So nobody else should have known where this person was at. So the fact that he got touched means that it came from her. So anyway, I'm like, what happened? So she tell me that, this and that. You know, the first thing in my head, there's only one person that would set this up. So I'm like, you know where this came from, right? She was like, no, I don't think so. And da 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 da. She describing to me the people that's supposed to have done it. The people that she's describing to me definitely sound like some cats that I've seen him around before. But I don't put this out there because I don't want to, if she want to live in the fact that it's not him, I'm gonna accept that. All I'm thinking now is definitely something got to go with this dude. But anyway, I'm like, what's going on? Like, what happened? So she explained the situation. Like, they ran up in the dude's house and robbed them. One of the dudes they snatched up and kidnapped because they thought it was more shit and they had more spots out there, which probably was the case, but the dude ain't tell them nothing. So they wind up driving him around trying to get him to take him somewhere else where either money or more stuff was at. And he didn't tell them nothing, so they wind up taking him, throwing him into a little lake and like shooting in the water. One of the bullets hit him. It didn't kill him, but it hit him. So, with Columbians and stuff, period, that you robbed them, that's a problem. But also, one of their people got shot behind this. So after she told me the story, I'm like, have you spoke to your peoples? And she was like, yeah, I spoke to him, and he telling me like something got to give with this situation because he knows that, it got to be somebody from my end because I'm the only person they deal with out here. But anyway, I'm like, well, what did you tell him? I don't know what to tell him because I don't know where it came from. And I'm just shaking my head like.
And you said this chick is Mexican?
Yeah, she Mexican, but like I say, she the sweetest person in the world. Like, if you met her, you'd be like, yo, I fuck with her. Because she's sweet as hell. She'll do anything for anybody. Like, plenty of times, she don't put niggas on their feet without a dime in their pocket. Niggas do her dirty all the time. And she never, she don't want nothing done to them. Like, when I finish telling you the rest of this shit, you want to see what I mean. She don't never, it's been so many times I've been like, nah, this person is a problem. Get them from around you. Meaning, like, let me deal with this person. And, like, she don't sanction none of that shit. There's been times we just had to move off our own energy because I knew these people would wind up harming her in the long run. But anyway, that's how she was. She was like, I don't know what to tell him because I don't know where it came from. So I'm like, all right, so what you want us to do? She was like, I just wanted you out here. I just don't feel safe right now. I feel uncomfortable. So I was like, all right, I'm going to chill with you. So I spent the whole day with her. Me and my niggas, we spent the whole day with her. And after that, we bounced. Like 2 days later, she called me. And I'm in the crib. She called me and was like, Selby, can you come here for a minute? So I'm like, all right. So I ride over to her house. When I get to her house, she the only one in the house. So I sit down at the counter and I'm like, what's up? She was like, he coming out here today. He coming to see me in a little while. And she nervous. I can look at her and tell she's nervous and scared to death. So I'm like, you talking about your peoples? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, damn. So I'm like, so what you want me to do right now? You want me to get some people outside? And she was like, no. Like, you can't do nothing like that. Like, we're not talking about no regular people. Like, this dude is connected. So I'm like, all right. So what you want me to do? She was like, can you just please stay here with me? Now, in my head, I'm like, these people might be coming to kill her. Because, one of their people got touched. A lot of product got lost. So I'm like, stay here with you? So she was like,
they might think you the nigga and your team is the niggas who robbed them.
Exactly. Like, this whole situation don't feel right to me, and I ain't even gonna sit here and hold you. My heart pumping out my chest. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay here with you. Like, fuck it. So she was like, all right, thank you. So a few minutes later, her phone rang, and it's the dude telling her they get ready to come in. They come into the house. So she was like, okay. So I had my shit on me. I pulled my gun out and I set it up on the counter because I don't want them to come in here, find a gun on me, and think I was up to something. So I set my gun up on the counter so that they could see that as soon as they walk in the door. And so a black car pull up. It's like one of these little town cars. And the crazy thing about it is we haven't seen this car in this neighborhood for like a day or so. We thought it was police, but we knew most of the police cars. It wind up, it was these people. So anyway, it pulls up, tinted windows. It's like one of them little Lincoln town cars. The dude get out the car, and one of the dudes get out the car. The driver stay in, the passenger get out, walk up to the door, and knock on the door. She opened the door. I'm looking out the window the whole time. I could see them because her blinds ain't down. I could look right out there and see them. I'm like, this must be them. So he come and knock on the door, and she opened the door. He don't even speak. She's like, hey, how you doing? He don't even speak. He just pushed the door all the way open to the wall. That joint go like, bah. He push it to the wall to make sure nobody behind it. Then he take a look behind it, make sure it ain't nothing that could be back there. And then he just go around the whole house. He look at me, reach over there, grab my gun off the counter, walk through the whole house, searching the whole house, never saying one word. He look through the house, make sure it's good. Then he go back outside and he like get a signal to the other dude. So the driver get out, go around, open up the back door. This joint just like a movie. The dude get out the back seat. He got on a long black little tweed, like one of them little trench coats and shit. But it's like a wool one. He got one of them shits on. He get out, he like fix it around him and shit, flap it a little bit, and come to the door. And man, my heart is out my chest. But at the same time, I'm like, it is what it is. I'm not leaving her because I can tell how nervous she is. But we both probably about to die, and here's what I'm thinking. So he come in the house and whatnot, and he sit down. He like, hey, how you doing? He was nice as hell. Like the dude that came in and searched the house was all business. He was like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? He come over to me and shake my hand and whatnot. And he was like, so Stella, what's going on? He sit down on the couch and he was like, so what's going on? And she was like, I don't know. Like, I still don't know what happened and whatnot. I told you if I knew, I would tell you. And he was like, that's a problem. He was like, I didn't come all the way out here for nothing. I didn't come all the way out here to hear, I don't know. And he said, it's only because it's you that I'm here. He was like, you know, I don't make trips like this. I don't come out and show my face in these areas. He was like, it's only because of you, and I know how you are. I know you yourself had nothing to do with this. But you telling me you have no idea how this could have gotten, how this could have took place is a problem. Because you're the only one out here I deal with. But he's saying this like in a calm voice, like a little accent, because like I said, he's Colombian, but he like, yeah, it's a problem. That's a problem. I don't know how this could have happened. So she was like, I know. He was like, who did you ever take over there? Who drove you there? Who done it? Like, you know, got to be some connection to somebody who saw and knew you was going there. Other than that, you're the only one who's supposed to have been knowing about this place. And she was like, that's why it's really it's confusing to me because I don't know. And I'm just sitting there listening. I can't say one word, but I'm listening, looking. The dude that came in the first time, he's standing by the door. He don't close it. And he like got his arms folded there over the door with my hammer under one of his arms. So he like, look, this is bad. He said, this is what I'm going to tell you. This is how I want this handled. He said, I don't care who it is. Somebody you don't like, somebody you like, I don't care. A friend, a family, somebody you don't even know, but I need a name. I need somebody that I can feel like I took something out on before we leave here. Just give me a name. Anybody done you dirty, anybody that you don't like, let me deal with that now. That's the person I'm gonna take this out on. And he was serious. Like all he wanted her was to tell him somebody that he could say, that's the one who I'm gonna take it out on. But again, like I said, she's not that kind of person. I could have thought of like 10 names off my head and I was ready to, but I ain't had nothing to do with it. So I just kept quiet. And he was like, a name, anybody. And she was like, I don't know. She's shaking her head. She's wringing her hands together. And she's nervous because now I'm thinking this is the point where she's not going to give him a name and they're going to kill us up in this apartment. So he was like, all right, Stella, I can see you not really ready to say nothing right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few days. Before I leave from out of this, state, I'm going to need a name. I'm going to need that. He was like, that's not like a request. That's like you got to give me a name, anybody. And she was like, I'm going to try. We're going to try to find out. And he looked at me. He was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. You know, that's my people's. And I got the same energy for her you got. Like you said, you know, she wouldn't have done nothing like that. And that's the same way I know about her. She's not that type of person. And he was like, do you got anybody you don't like? Somebody that you just want going? And I wanted to say it so bad, but I definitely wasn't getting in the mix of their business. So I was like, nah, I'm just here. You know, she asked me to come by and sit with her, and that's why I'm here. So he was like, okay. He turned back to her. He was like, I'm giving you a few days. Like, before I leave, I need to know something. So she was like, okay. They get in the car and they bounce. Dude, give me back my hammer. And they bounce. So I'm like, yo, like, how you gonna handle this? And she was like, I don't know. Like, it's crazy because I don't want to do that to nobody. I was like, yo, sometimes you got to think for yourself or somebody else. Like, you're in a situation now, it's going to be you or somebody else. And she was like, I know. And I'm like, look, I got a dip, but please don't put yourself in that position. Like, speak up about what you feel. And I know, like, I don't want to come out and say it again. Like, it's your son. You know that. He the only one who would have done that. He the only one that know your business enough to know where you be going and how you move. She ain't let nobody else know that. And she's saying she never took him there, but I'm pretty sure he followed her or done something. It's only him. Nobody else, like I said, out there is everybody else got good energy for her. So I know bottom line is her, and the guys that the people describe, I know it's him too. Like the dreads, they describe niggas with dreads and all that. So I know it was the people that he be around. But anyway, I leaves.
So he was a Mexican dude hanging out with black dudes?
Yeah, he hung out with black dudes. Like, if you met him, you would, like, other than the way he looked, he was black. Spoke it, everything. Like, how he talked, how he carried himself, the way he dressed. But yeah, he was Mexican. His father was a rich Mexican too in Mexico, and his father used to always tell him, come down there, and you're gonna live like a king. The only reason why he didn't want to do that is because he couldn't go down there getting high. His father wouldn't allow that. So anyway, she wound up calling me again a few days later, and she was like, hey, I need to come over there. And I'm like, all right, come on, I'm at home. So I had some people in the house. And I told them to dip. And she came over there, and she came with a brick. And she was like, I don't feel safe, like, cooking this up nowhere else. And I'm like, where you get that from? And she was like, I got it from him. He told me just to get it. But from now on, don't mess with nobody and this and that. And, I got to finish paying him back that money. So I was like, all right, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? So this was supposed to be the information he gave her. So, and he told her everything she get, she copping up front. And that's what she did. I think she got like 2, maybe 3 of them joints from him. So she came over there. She brought one of them over to the house to cook it up. And I'm in the living room. And she in the kitchen. The way my house is set up, the kitchen got a back door that led down the stairs, like to a little, it ain't no fire escape, but it's like stairs that you can go out to the backyard. It's little metal stairs. The front door is in the living room right where I'm at. So she in the kitchen. Next thing I know, I hear her scream, like, no. And I jump up, grab my joint, run in the kitchen. I'm like, what's up? I'm thinking somebody done came in the back door, but I don't hear no kick in or nothing. I know the door is locked. And she just standing there looking down at the brick. And I'm like, what's the matter? The whole brick was fake. The top of it had real coke on it, but under that joint was like wax or some shit. And I'm like, what's this? And she was like, this is what he gave me. No, please, no. So she upset, and she was like, I gotta go home. So she bagged that shit up real quick and run home, and she called me back and told me like all of that shit was fake that she just got from him. And that's how he cut her off. You know what I'm saying? Instead of him doing something to her, which he didn't want to do that because of the history he had with her, he sold her some fake shit.
That's crazy.
But the crazy thing about this whole thing is she's locked up right now for the rest of her life. Guess why?
Wow.
Her son.
He told on her?
Yes. This nigga lined her up and got her locked up in a life bed right now so he can get out of the time that they snatched him up for. And the crazy thing is, like, it's mad people in the feds. Like, anybody from North Carolina that was in Durham or any like those surrounding areas, when they hear the story, they gonna know who I'm talking about, because 9 times out of 10 niggas was fucking with her. But her son is like a wanted man. He can't move around in the feds and none of that. The last I heard, they was putting him in like county jails and shit to do his little bids. But this was some years ago. He might even be on the streets right now, but I know she got a life bid behind it. And I tried to find her a few times, but I never knew her last name. You know what I'm saying? So I never could find her. And from what people was telling me, you know what I'm saying, the name that she was going by when she was out there wasn't really her real name. You know what I'm saying? She didn't really give up her real information. So I never could find her, but I tried like a motherfucker because I wanted to look out, go check on her. I wanted to see her and everything. But anyway, I saw him. One day I'm in a Waffle House And this is before I heard the story about what had happened with him and what he done. I had just came back to North Carolina. I think I was up top for a few, and I just came back to North Carolina. And when I was down there, I happened to bump into him in the Waffle House, and he was like, "Oh shit, Sel, what up?" So I'm talking to him and everything, and I'm like, "Yo, how you doing?" Like, he got a little car, he got some jewelry on. It looked like he doing all right. So I'm like, "Oh shit, you finally got your shit together, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm doing good, staying out of trouble, this and that." But I can tell he was acting kind of half nervous. But later, I figured out what, and once I heard what happened and what he done, I figured out why he was acting like that. He thought I knew the story, but I didn't know the story. You know what I'm saying? Because if I would have known the story, yeah, he had a reason to be nervous. But I didn't. I wound up hearing about it after that. And then I told niggas I seen him. I was like, "Yo, I just seen this nigga in the Waffle House." They was like, "What? You seen the wind?" Like, they was at his neck. But to this day, I don't know what happened. But yeah, his mom's is doing a life sentence right now behind that nigga. Like, how you telling your moms?
That shit different.
Definitely different, bro.